Josefina, you've given me no choice. So I'm gonna do this tag video.
Hi, my name is Jake, and I am a bookish drummer.
So for this video, I will be answering prompts in the Blockbuster Book Tag. Now, I was kindly tagged by my good friend Josefina. I watched her video and she did a great job with it. And there are a lot of movies in this tag. I think there's like 21, so let's go ahead and just jump right into it, shall we? So the first question is, Back to the Future, name a book/series with multiple timelines. And multiple timelines is one of my favorite book tropes of all time. So there's actually a lot that I could have chosen here. But today I'm going to go with Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, one of my favorite authors of all time. It's probably my second favorite book by her besides Daisy Jones and the Six. And this flips back and forth between, I believe, the 80s and then like the 50s and 60s. So, yes. So prompt number 2 is The Lord of the Rings. Name a book/series with your favorite fellowship/friend group. And again, a lot of could have chosen from, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. Definitely one of my favorite friendship groups. And it's basically about, these group of guys who used to be in a band of mercenaries, and they're getting the band back together, and you definitely see how they are now, and just, it's a lot of fun. Definitely one of the funniest books I've ever read, and it's mostly because of the dynamics of their friendships and the friend group. And I probably could have said that better, but I'm kind of tired. Prompt number 3 is Shrek. Name a book/series that ended up being better than it first appeared to be. And definitely this book, because I went into this book thinking, I'm probably not going to like this, but I'll give it a shot anyway just to broaden my horizons. But I ended up loving it. And that would be The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Definitely not a typical book. I love fantasy, horror, sci-fi thrillers, right? So for me to pick up like a contemporary YA romance, I don't know. I honestly don't remember why I decided to pick it up, but I did, and I have no regrets because this is one of my favorite books of all time, and it definitely grew on me, and yeah, it's just great. And yeah, it definitely taught me to go out of my comfort zone because you never know what you can find. All right, prompt number 4 is Titanic. Name a book/series with your favorite romance or a book that is super sad. Well, I don't read a lot of romance, but I read a lot of sad books. So let's go ahead and talk about Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. Yes, this book is very depressing, but also very thrilling. The basic premise is that these two dads both have gay sons who were married and they were murdered. And yeah, terrible. And so it's basically them ganging up and getting revenge on the people who murdered their sons. So yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows with this book. It's very depressing, but it's also very good. All right, prompt number 5 is E.T. Name a book/series with your favorite non-human character. And again, lots of options. But for now, I'm going to go with Oi from the Dark Tower series. I don't know why I blanked on the name there for a second. But it's Oi, who is this kind of animal, almost dog-like creature that you meet in the 3rd book here. And he's a Billy Bumbler. And he's awesome. That's all you need to know. And number 6, Harry Potter, name a book/series that makes you feel nostalgic. Now, this book I haven't read in quite a long time, but hopefully I can get around to rereading it because it was one of my favorite books in series growing up. And that would be the Redwall series by Brian Jacques, or Jakes, or I have no idea how to pronounce his last name. But anyway, I read like probably a dozen of these books in like elementary school. I devoured these books as a kid, and it'll be very interesting for me to go back and read this and feel all of the nostalgic goodness. And prompt number 7, Avatar, name a book/series with an incredibly immersive setting. Now, this one came to mind almost immediately, and it's the one I'm going to go with, and that would be Roshar, the continent of Roshar from the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. And the first time I read this book, I was just incredibly immersed into the uniqueness that is Roshar and just the Cosmere in general. Just really unique and just very different from anything that I'd ever read before. And every time I go back to it, I just get immersed to it again and again. All right, and prompt number 8, Toy Story. Name a book/series intended for younger audiences that you love. Now, on my channel, of course, I've talked a lot about this author, the author of one of my favorite books of all time, Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie, one of my favorite books of all time. But he also has a couple other books, including Notes from a Midnight Driver, which these two books are actually sort of connected. I read both of these in middle school. I've reread this book several times in my life and plan to continue doing so. And then I actually reread this book recently, and it held up very nicely, just like this book. And I know they're for like middle grade students, but they're a lot of fun. They're very charming. I can't help but love them. And prompt number 9, James Bond. Name a book/series that rests on the shoulders of its protagonist. Now, for this series, I wouldn't say if it like completely rests on the main character, but he is one of my favorite characters, and the series obviously would not work without him, so I guess I'm going to have to go with that. And that would be the John Cleaver series by Dan Wells. And of course, the first-person narrator of the entire 6-book series, the 2 trilogies, is John Cleaver. And like I said, one of my favorite protagonists ever. Very unique voice, and just I love the way that Kirby Hayborn narrates him. And obviously it's the John Cleaver series, right? So it would not be the same without him, right? He definitely carries the series. I love this series. All right, and number 10, we have Star Wars. Name your favorite multi-generational story. Now for this one, I'm going to go with A History of What Comes Next by Sylvain Neville. Now, if you don't know the premise of this, it's essentially about these 2 beings that are basically generation after generation. They're basically copycats of each other. And on this book, they're like I think the 99th generation. So it's literally multi-generational in the sense that these characters are essentially just cloning themselves. And yeah, it's very unique. I love Sylvain Neville, the author of the Themis Files. And yes, I've read the first and the second book, and hopefully the third book will come out next year. Very good series. And number 11, Rocky. Name a book/series with your favorite underdog. This one I'm kind of cheating because it's not a fictional underdog. I just think it'll be funny to piss off Patriots fans. And that will be the Mannings, specifically Eli Manning, who, if you don't know, and if you're not a sports fan, you can just skip this part. But he went up against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and the Patriots were 16-0, and no one thought the Giants were going to win. Everyone betted on the Patriots winning. And Eli Manning and the Giants came in and beat them. I think the score was like 17-14, and just shocks the whole football world. So definitely one of the best underdog stories, even though it has nothing to do with fantasy or anything, but one of my favorite underdog stories. All right, number 12, Mission Impossible. Name your favorite heist story. This one's pretty simple. The Lies of Locke Lamora, my favorite heist story. Go read it. All right, number 13, Pirates of the Caribbean. Name a book/series with a shady character that you can't help but love. And immediately the first thing that came to mind was Joel Goldberg from the You/Joel Goldberg series from Caroline Kepnes. And I recently just reread the third book with my girlfriend Stacy, and I love this series. She loves that series. And Joe Goldberg is Joe Goldberg. I don't know why I said it weird. But he's definitely a shady character. He's a stalker who just gets obsessed with women book after book, and he definitely does a lot of questionable things, but it's really fun to read about him, so it's okay. All right, number 14, The Fast and the Furious. Name a book/series with a super fast-paced plot. Now for this, I had a lot of options, but I'm going to go with Vicious by V.E. Schwab, simply for the fact that it's basically like a 400-page book, and I read it in like a 12-hour period. Like I flew through this book. I could not finish it fast enough. It was super fast-paced, super gripping, super intriguing, and I just had a blast reading this, and it was definitely one of the most fast-paced books I've ever read. Question number 15, Marvel/DC universes. Name a book/series with a huge payoff. Now for this, might be an unpopular opinion, I don't know, but I love this book. That's an unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna have to go with Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. This book for me has a huge payoff. It has a huge cathartic moment in the last few chapters that I just absolutely loved. I read that chapter, I was like, yes, yes. I know a lot of people don't feel that way, but that's how I feel. So it's my tag. So yeah, suck it. All right, now we have some bonus questions. Question number 16, Jaws. Name a book/series that snuck up on you and left a mark. It definitely left a mark, but it's probably the least of my scars. I just wanted to make a joke. All right, moving on. Question number 17. Transformers. Name a book/series that transforms genres, aka 2 or more genres in the same book. Now I'm going to go with a very underhyped, underrated story book that does not get enough love. And that would be Extreme Makeover by Dan Wells. This book is amazing and it does so many things well. Dan Wells. But it's a sci-fi, it's apocalyptic, it's horror, it's satire, it's so many things in one book, and it's so good, and I wish more people would love it. Well, I wish more people would read it and then love it. You know what I'm trying to say, y'all. Read this book. Question number 18, Indiana Jones. Name a book/series with a pulse-pounding plot. Now, of course, I'm going to go with The Couple Next Door, one of my favorite thrillers of all time. If you don't know, all you need to know going into this book is that chapter 1 starts with the stolen baby, and then it goes from there. It's very fast. It's very pulse-pounding. I love this book. I hope y'all will go check it out. Question number 19, Star Trek. Name a series with some good entries and some bad entries. Now for this, it's not really just like one series, it's just the Cosmere overall. Now, this is definitely going to be unpopular because obviously people love Sanderson, and And I love Sanderson. I love Stormlight. I love Mistborn Era 2. I love Elantris and Warbreaker. But for me, easily my least favorite Cosmere book is The Hero of Ages, the third and final book in the original Mistborn trilogy. Not good. I don't. Question number 20. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Name a book/series with an extremely dangerous character or creature. And this series is just filled with dangerous creatures. And that would be the Witcher series by Andrzej Sapkowski. Definitely, especially the short story collections, because it's basically just Geralt dealing with a bunch of shit, like a bunch of different creatures. But there's also stuff in the main books. But yeah, definitely in the Witcher series, there's a lot of random ass creatures that Geralt has to deal with. Oh, and then question 21, Karate Kid. Name a book/series with your favorite mentor character. I did not prepare for this one. Well, I guess I'll go with Geralt from The Witcher. He's a mentor character to a character named Ciri. So pulled that out of my ass. All right, those are all of the movie prompts for the what did I just do? The Blockbuster movie tag. Blockbuster Book Tag. I am a well prepared person. And thanks again for Josefine for tagging me in this movie book tag thing. I had a lot of fun coming up with answers for this. Hopefully y'all enjoyed watching this mess of a video. Anyway, please let me know what you thought of this video down below. Let me know what you thought of my answers. And let me know what your answers are for this book tag. Please leave that all down in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and the Bookish Drummer Discord. And if you'd like to further support me financially, go check out my Patreon page to see what that's all about. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and have a terrific day.